Hello everyone, this is Evelyn. I have 3 of my messages of the day, one a day for the past 3 days because I haven't been online. My energy's been kind of low the past couple days. I was at the beach with my daughter and then I didn't sleep and I was just really out of it yesterday because I hadn't slept. And then yesterday I had to take my daughter to the airport really early this morning, so just been a few days of not getting great sleep and a little bit of tough energy out there. But otherwise everything is good. Everything is very well. So we have three of the messages of the day with the Metatron deck, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. And my 7 deck read is on the table as you see in front of you. And you might want to pick 1, 2, or 3 to see which one might be resonant for you today. It's 4:11 on the clock, perhaps important information there. Let's go ahead and take our 3 deep breaths first. Take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and blessings to everybody. I hope you're all doing well and having a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here with me. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you do like the video. And let's go ahead and get into these reads and messages. Let me put my bowl back here. If Teddy starts squeaking his toy, it's because he's trying to join the conversation, because he picks up his squeaky toy when people are talking and he's not included, and he goes because he gets to talk with us, right, Teddy? Yep. You can see his little face. He's on the other side. You can't see. Yeah, it gets kind of see him. Yes, we're talking about you. All right, so let's go ahead and roll the die and get right into these. The first one I'm going to do is from the 25th, then the 26th, and then is this the 25th? Yeah. The 25th, and then today is the 28th. I did one today, I did one yesterday, and then, the day I was away, I probably didn't do one, okay? So the 25th, the 27th, and 28th, and then the 7-card read for the twin flames. All right, so what do the dice have for us today on the 28th of August, 2022? And of course, the 28 is the 2 of Wands, or the twin flames. And today adds up to the 42, I think. 28, 36, yep, 42 today, which is the 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups, 2 of Wands. So decisions perhaps, or choices to make, or just sitting in that energy of one-to-one love and one-to-one passion, choosing a road, or perhaps hanging out in that twin flame energy. For the twin flames, August 28, 2022. All right, we have Mercury here. And we have, that's Mercury is Gemini and Virgo, all about communication and messages. And here we have number 3, which is the Empress, which is Taurus, but it's also March, which is Pisces going into Aries. It's also coming together, socializing. And then we have the Scorpio energy, which is the South Node right now. So we have Scorpio and then Taurus, which is the North Node. So we have that axis, as well as Mercury in communication, which Mercury and the Page of Swords, that energy can be twin flames as well, because it's the Gemini is the twins. So we have the North and South Node and Virgo and Gemini of the Mercury planets. So fixed and mutables. And yeah, let's get right into this. All right, so here's the first one. I actually have my old message of the day as well with my 4-deck read with the Nature's, the Animal Spirit deck, and the Lenormand, the KIPPER deck, and the GILDED. I do have a read, and we'll see how long it goes, but First, we're going to do these 3 reads and the 7-deck read, and if I have time, I'll do that one as well. All right, so this is the first one. Again, up top here is the Metatron deck. The underlying energy is here, and then a pile that I have to count at the end for each deck. Again, Nature's Whispers, the cards that came out here, and then the pile I had to count. And then for the Shaman Dreams down below, these came out, and then I had to count this pile over here. So I'm just going to bring it a little closer so you can see the pictures a little bit better. Okay. All right, so that's number 1, if you picked one of the 3. And this was from the 25th, and there were 39s all over my trip to Ocean City when I went to the beach for the day with my daughter. 39 is the Knight of Cups. And yeah, the synchronicities driving were off the hook. I mean, I always get them, but they were really off the hook, like so many synchronicities. And it was actually like telling me a story all the way down the highway to the beach. Every license plate was telling me another story, and then the signs that popped up, the finish line sign popped up as well. 222 came up. Just so many that were very personal to me. And also, my daughter had put on some songs from Hamilton, and then the Hamilton sign came, as well as Berlin came up in the read the day before, and then the Berlin sign came up, as well as 77, which is the Sovereign. I saw 3939, and then, which is the 2 Knights, the Knight of Cups, and then I passed a gas station that had 3939, and 39s were popping up constantly all the way down. And then on the way home, too, yeah, same thing. So, let's see here. All right, so it's at 10:47 this on the 25th. 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, 47 is the 7 of Cups, which for me is synchronicities, but also choices and perhaps confusion at times, heaven in your eyes. So from the Metatron deck, first there were 3, 4, and 5 cards in the pile that I had to count. So total it was 12 cards, but they broke up into 3, 4, and 5. So that was significant for the 3D, 4D, 5D split. And then 12 of Wisdom and multidimensionality hanging out at 0 point. From the Nature's deck, no cards came out for the pile, just to come together in joy and abundance. And then the Shaman deck, 3 cards came out in the pile, and that was the Hanging Man and the Empress. So the underlying energies, right away, the emerald and blue energies were coming up of the 39 and 29. Those were the numbers of the cards, which is the Knight of Cups and the 3 of Wands. The Emerald Order and the Blue Mother always comes up at 11:25, which is Justice and the Knight of Wands. The Queen of Wands, which is the orange card, which was funny because then we were looking at orange hats because Jenna wanted an orange hat. And number 24, which is the Queen of Wands, and a wake-up call to align, or call indigo, number 21, star who's whole, complete, and water baby. Libra, Pisces, and Cancer came up right there, ending each day in the sunset where you're held with compassion as the King of Swords, number 51, who comes up here with the white energy of innocent and purity, the 9 of the Hermit, and movement needed with Big Bird, King of Swords, the Queen of Swords. So the King of Swords and Queen of Swords came up here with the Hermit in the middle. The 22 of Sandalphon, who's with you now, and the Christ Dimensional Gateway of number 33, which is the invitation. And here I was getting the father and the daughter energy. 2233 was coming up, which is the Fool's Journey going into the 4D bridge. So for me, it's the bridge is 33 going into the 22 station in 5D, which is the Fool's Journey, jumping off from that platform to anywhere you'd like. The King of Swords and the Hermit on the Fool's Journey via the number 33 bridge, where Christ lays down for you. So just like a man would lay their coat down, Christ lays down for you on the 4D bridge. The 12 cards of the 3D, 4D, 5D, and the Divine Feminine High Priestess with a time out in the purple moon to get the 54 or Page of Swords, which is that Gemini energy, that Mercury message from the castle via the Milky Way. and the aqua rose gold heart of love and harmony, which Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini all came up right there. In the 3D, being free to communicate at the beach in a bottle. The 19 of fire and dragon, puff, and then 1019, where the sun is destined to be strong in a new dawn of a higher love, setting boundaries daily with Taurus and Leo, or Libra and Sag. If the dragon's too close to the sun must step back. Boundaries are key here, with nature and self-love first, which is 4D. Then the 53 of the Knight of Swords. Then with the key from the 4D to unlock the root of the tree. The key to freedom, communication, and boundaries, and no holding back. I was saying no holds barred. The 41, as above, so below, with compassionate reflection required, and calm passion. The calm past connection, which is the easy past connection. The void, the 48 of walking away within, to pause, rest, and retreat into the void, which is that 30 symbol, with the crown and the diamond on top. And then the energies of the W and the M were coming up again, of the 2 U's, and then the M is like 2 humps, like 2 lowercase n's. Let me just get that focused for you. So I'm going to show you, oh, did I even load that? Give me just 1 second, because I meant to load this picture here. So let me see if I can get that for you. The picture. Going to send it to my mail. Okay. Sorry about that. It's getting very hot right now too. It usually happens for me when a lot of masculine energy is coming up. So, all right, from my mail. Okay, so they started getting me into some technical drawings, so I wanted to at least get some of the drawings done for you on my software, because sometimes it's hard to understand my drawings, my hand drawings. So, all right, let me just download this. That's better. Okay. I think I finally got it there. Yep. Okay. All right, so the W is 2 U's and the M is 2 lowercase n's. And this was coming up with the Reflecting Willows tree card, number 41, which is the Ace of Cups and love, and the 53 of the Knight of Swords, and the tree that's split in half. With 2 U's, and again the energy of the 2 U's being Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and the Temple Lady of the Twins, each with 2 lips, like parentheses, which I brought up before. And then the parentheses is the parent Jesus, which is Jesus, which is Jesus, the parent Jesus. So parentheses equals parents of Jesus who hold and cover him, right? The mother is like the smile that holds, and then the father covers or protects. To cleave, follow, or stay close. Suspended, embarrassed, or hesitating here were coming up in the energies. And what was coming up is what I've shown you before is the picture of the star. see if I can try to explain this to you here. So I did some of the drawings that were coming up in my message, okay? So here is the energy. I start out with the singulars here and here, and it becomes the one whole together. So again, the smile down here. I think this pointer is too big. I don't have my little skinny pointer because Teddy might get it and hurt himself. But so the smile is here. So it wasn't this 3 shape to begin with. First it's just the U, and then the N, which is the upside down U. And this is the masculine side and the feminine side, and they each have their cross in the middle, right? The horizontal and vertical pillars. And as they come together, I'm trying to remember, it always like unfolded. Oh, I know it was from the card. I'm going to show you the card so you understand. Because it started from this card. It's the Reflecting Willows card, I believe, yeah. I think your patience is being tested here. Are you being patient? All right, so we have this card. This is that 41 card that I mentioned already, with the 2 weeping willows reflecting each other. And you see how this is the vertical. It shows you the vertical pillar and the horizontal pillar, and that the weeping willows are reaching out to each other, right? And of course, this is like the horizon line, but instead is reflecting the tree and the water. Okay, but you get that picture of the cross, of the star. So it's that same energy of each one of these, but there's one for each, the masculine and the feminine on each side. And then when you bring the twins together, you have that infinity energy in the middle here, but you notice what this becomes is the fleur-de-lis symbol. It's just not equally weighted in the fleur-de-lis symbol, because that comes up with the energy of direction, right? So we're also talking about the toroidal field. Remember, here's the toroidal field. It looks like an apple. It's 2 circles with an hourglass in the middle, and it's like the apples, right? And of the apple, you have a bottom closed off, and then usually the top has a stem, right? So when you have a stem there's like direction being shown in the apple. You see how you can put a thorn in the side and cause the direction to move not straight up and down, but into this direction. And then if you close off the apple completely, of course, it becomes pressurized, and then the energy has nowhere to go at the 0 point but to go within and through the hole and create a new hole or a pathway out through another dimension. Okay, so that's a very rough drawing, you know, of a torus or a toroidal field. And this is a Vogel crystal, and the angles regarding a Vogel crystal, you can look that up if you want to learn about how to heal with Vogel crystals. And so we started out with the singular here of one person, became the double here as one, and then here was coming into the flower of the 2 more petals here, because you notice when you have, for example, the Star of David, you only see 6 points when you do a 2D drawing, but just like the Merkaba has 8 points on it. It's not 6, because you're not seeing the point coming towards you, and you're not seeing the point that's behind the star. So I was also bringing up the energy of something like this can have more going on than you see, because there could be something in the middle projecting forward and something in the back projecting back. What also came up here was the degrees of 6 parts of the 360 degrees, which is the 60-degree angle, and then the 7 parts, which comes up to the 51.43 when it's split into 7. So that's that angle of the pyramids. It's not exact, but there is a bit of a range right there from 51 point something to just over 52. So, and there's a lot of calculations I was doing with that range as well. There's a lot of interesting things that were coming up, but it gets kind of technical and complicated. So let me just go with the flow as far as the messages I got here, and I'll refer back to some of the pictures as I need to. The other picture here was an abbreviated version of Metatron's cube. Okay, down here, the circle, and this is just referencing the W and the M the E and the 3 of the rolling stone that I always talk about, because that is this. So when you add, we already had the 2 parentheses top and below, but you add the star in the middle, and it becomes all of them. It becomes the M, the W, the 3, and the E. So that's like my symbol for the rolling stone. All right. So the Holy Grails, the cups or the U's are Holy Grails, and then the N's of Jesus are the Holy Communions to put in the cup. Okay, and it's also the U and the N of the Wounded Warrior Woe Man, and then the Mother Mary Man were coming up as the thorns in the side to cause the up and down energy of the toroidal field to go in a certain direction or trajectory. And these were the rough sketches I was doing when I first started getting these downloads, just so you can see my writing. Maybe it'll make more sense to you. So the rolling stone of the WEM3, where 2 hold, like the mother energy, and then 2 cover, the masculine energy, and then it creates the energy of the infinity going between both twins, where the 8 brings them together, where E, remember the capital E is 1 equal and congruent to the 3, which when you put the E and the 3 together, they equal 8. Not in an addition way, but when you literally put them together, they create the number 8. 1 little star and 1 little star equals the Taurus, the north node, and the Scorpion thorn in the south. The longitudinal interference creating the fleur-de-lis, like I said. And I'll show you a picture of the fleur-de-lis in the next page as well. So on the next page I started doing more drawings, and here's my sketches that I was doing at the top of the next page, and there you have the fleur-de-lis, and you see how it's the same drawing as I had. It just becomes more heavy weighted on this side where the energy is going up here, and then can be, because this gets closed off like the bottom of the apple. But if you close the top off too, then you can make it come out the sides, and there's where that quantum leap comes in right here. But you see the reference to the fleur-de-lis. And I was doing a lot of calculations to see about the degrees of the Vogel versus the V's of the pyramid versus what's coming up here with the 60 degrees, because the Vogel crystal is supposed to be the 51.43 to 52. I think the other number that comes up is 51.83 or 4, something like that. But one is that angle, and then the other end is 60 degrees. And so that comes up basically as the 360-degree circle divided into 6, which is the 60 degrees, versus the divided by 7, which is that 51 degree angle, roughly. So then the Queen of Wands came up with the 3 of Wands and the 8 of Wands right in a row, with and then the ranges 81 degrees, 86 degrees, and 91 degrees came up, which was giving me the central mother, the Page of Pentacles as Jesus or all grown up, and then the central father as the 81 and the 91, and the 86 in the middle as the Page of Pentacles, no longer the Page of Pentacles, because the Page of Pentacles is 68, becomes the 86 as they mature. The Queen of Wands was coming up as the QUU, right? Because the Queen of Wands I abbreviate as QW, which is the Q, which is the masculine and the feminine, the O, and then the line of interference that makes the Q, the capital Q, and the W is 2 U's, which is the W. Then it was 3 of Wands, which is the 3 and 2 U's, and then the 8 of Wands, which is the 8 and 2 U's, which remember the 8 is the 3 and the E put together. And a 0.10 variation was coming up here with the Queen of Cups, which is number 38, and the symbols broken apart. I was getting Q, they were guiding me to break this all down into like Q with one of the U's and then the line with the other U. The three, top half of the three with one U and then the bottom half of the three with the other U. So they're giving me these weird patterns to pull together. The variation where the lowercase q was also coming up here with JC reflecting himself, which then becomes Mary Magdalene, where you are alone, you alone cause the interference, right? So the needle in your side or the thorn in your side isn't really someone else doing it to you, it's you causing your own interference, you putting a thorn in the wheel. It was coming up as you alone cause interference, and you are the only one who owes you. You owe yourself human connection, which was how it was coming out. Where longitudinal interference, or the lowercase q, causes creation in human, and then that the energy of the 6 horizontal lines together, which is the perfect balance of yin and yang. It's the 64 hexagrams in Qing. It's a Chinese way of kind of doing tarot cards. It's described as not unlike the 78 tarot card deck, where 6 solids equals creative power equals the flying dragon. The 6 cups and the 6 seeds, we're referencing the plants and the flowers and the creative power. And then again, that longitudinal interference was coming up with the apple again. So here's the toroidal field, the torus, where you have the 2 cheeks, and here would be like the bottom of the apple, and then putting a thorn in your side, causing it to go in a different direction instead of straight up and down, or instead of blocking the bottom of off and just having it going straight up. Now you're going to cause direction. And again, here is blocking both off and then having the pressure build up and making it go in through the middle. If you plug up the apple bottom, the force has nowhere to go but up. Plug it in from right or left and cause direction or a different trajectory. But plug both ends of the apple and there's nowhere to go but to break through to the other side. And the quantum leap was coming up there, which I always see as the 2 circles with the line joining the 2 circles. So this for me is considered the quantum leap. And then the Merkaba was coming up regarding that quantum leap, because I'd done a technical drawing before where I did the pyramid of 6 circles with that line joining all the circles, that quantum leap between the circles. And it doesn't matter if you understand where I'm going with this, with the technical drawings, because just the pictures and the ideas that are going to come up are going to trigger something in you, in your own knowing, for this or for something else. So don't worry about understanding everything that I'm talking about right now. It'll come together in the message as I get past these drawings, okay? So in the abbreviated Metatron cube that I was drawing, I was getting more circles than would normally be drawn in the Metatron's cube. I was getting 7 flowers in 6 circles, where the middle flower contains 1/3 of the flowers. So literally, it just ended up being there, you know, the 6 circles in the center that make the flower of life, plus 18 more around, and then the 6 on the outside that are usually there for the Metatron cube. So I was getting 30 total. 7 flowers where each share 1 petal with another. So at 3:38, trying to get back to the read, I was also getting the the Y in the road is like the Mercedes symbol. So this was coming up as well in the star format, all right? So you see the 8s were coming up here with the Mercedes symbol, the Y in the road in the side. So here you have the 2 8s, and then of course they come together when the twins come together. But there was something that was unfolding that I wasn't getting the full grasp of yet, but I just wanted to show you the picture to see if anything comes up for you. At 3:38 is the Empress and the 38 of the Queen of Cups. So from Nature's Whispers, the underlying energy was a fresh approach. Now the rainbow bridge is complete, with the 43 where love matters as the ground ship leaves and the spaceship comes in. The 33 to be gentle with yourself, standing up for yourself, and yet not being a martyr on the rainbow bridge, which is the 4D. The 1 of the magician, the divine masculine, to make a wish on the dandelion or the Lord of the Ring, a divine feminine thing, as the white Bengal tiger jumps through her ring of fire, her hoops, as she knows, divine masculine likes to play hoops. The 13 of transition and renewal of peace, where the baby in a nook of the tree was coming up as the transition of Abby or A baby names, A's, B's, and E's, but also the capital B comes up as the number 13 or transition. And the capital E, like I always say, is 1 equal and congruent to. So the baby in the nook of the tree being cradled and all as it should be in the parent's arms, the sweet little thing. And Muhammad Ali was coming up. So then the 48 number was coming up, which is the 8 of cups, and walking away within with hope and happiness, connecting on the crowded beach with flocks and ocean salt water, colorful hair, and free to breathe the fresh air. And as we all know, this is a very popular time for the beaches to get very crowded because a lot of people go on vacation this time of the summer. Mother and child, child and pet, the 41 of love of service to the little ones, the octopus teacher, the October opus, and the O coming up here. See-tober puss. The site where the fairground is set up. Afghanistan and Pakistan language was coming up, as well as the puss. Well, more, aftermouth, pout to expel negative energy, matter or preparing to cry. Me, ow. Plus, haze and steam bath. So meow was coming up regarding to use, but saying it hurts, right? Meow, regarding the cat and the puss coming up. Meow, to use. All right, so stay with me. So at 402, which is the Emperor and the High Priestess, the 30 of the Union and the Home, the adventure in bridging water gaps, feeding the little ones, seaweed, algae in the conch shell or chemist's well, bringing home some seaweed from the beach or drying it and using it later for boo-boos was coming up, but you might want to research that as well. Give you or your little seahorse a salt bath. Hair too. The hair is an important connection, full of light, your DNA. Home and union to patch things up. The Queen of Wands, remember, is the Q and 2 U's. The union and quantum leap at the Y in the road. The 3 almond circle, which is the flower of life, right? It's the circle of the Mercedes symbol with the Y in the middle breaks that circle down into what the circle of life looks like. You know, the flower. It's 4:44 in the clock, by the way. Angelic realms. So the Y in the road references the flower of life, and the Y in the road, the 0 point field, the 3 almond circle, where all almonds take you to other circles. You just have to find the right exit point, like the Mexican immigrants trying to get across the border, right? They just find that little entryway. That's all they need. One who is inspired or impassioned always finds a way through. When there's a will, there's a way. Be your best self always. At 45 here, the number 45 with the 5 of cups, and the having to do with purging and grieving, finding peaceful waters in your own empowerment, right? It's like the 6 of Swords energy of moving to peaceful waters. The underlying energy of the shaman deck here was the 23 of the King of Wands and Fortune's Wheel, the 19 of the Sun and Falling Angel, back to sleep, like teddy bear. As the Knight of Wands 30, which is the union energy in the home, the House Footman. And right at that point too, I was getting, that's the night I didn't sleep. And Teddy thinks he has to stay up all night with me if I'm not sleeping. And I was telling him that he doesn't have to be the protector right now. I'm going to watch the house and he can go to sleep. So he went to sleep for a little while, but you know, he can't resist. But he's a herding dog. He's an Australian Shepherd. So he would come out and, be protective again a little while later. The 41 of the Ace of Cups and the Moon Maiden then came up with new beginnings as the daughter holds up the world with love. The 13 of Transition of the Dream Thief, refusing the call to action with no sleep, or the need to call back because maybe you're too tired to talk and yet still being awake. The 28 of the Twin Flames and the Hollow Bone card came up of teachability. If you hollow oneself out, there's a surrender there. With endings each day, remember to purge instead of letting it build up. The sunset is there to purge the ending of each day, with renewal and peace, a new path each day, and needing to be well rested. The first card out was the 56 of the Wall, knowing and staying inside yourself, projecting perhaps the writing on the wall inside the tree. The 64 of the 10 of Swords and the Woodwives, extensions of the trunk, never far away and always circling, mastery, adaptability of the electrons, yet never nearing the end. See that you are the trunk, just that you sprouted later than the trunk. They're no different though. There's no need to feel separation, just bliss. The 49 of skywriting, of M and M, the fates, Michael and Metatron, the electric and magnetic, the lightning and thunder, where the light attracts thunder and thunder the light. The height of the flame attracts to the nth degree under, and to the nth degree under, all attracts the flame height, as above so below. Mike light and met at Ron, the trill of being on, but stole their thunder, so they turned off Mike's lights and said good night. And that's actually a line from a song I wrote a long time ago for my son. So I'll just turn out the light and say good night. So then Mike Tyson came up at 4:44, which was just 4:44 on the clock. And he has a new bio series. I don't know how well it's doing, but he has a new bio series called Mike, and that's on Hulu. And this was coming up on MSN News. And Looper.com, 8/25/22, Bollywood Liger film, he plays a legendary American fighter in that as well. And then Muhammad Ali came up. Remember, Muhammad danced like a butterfly and stings like a bee. He passed away on 6/3/2016, which is my father's birthday actually, and he died in Scottsdale. And remember, he was known as the greatest. So again, that song's been coming up constantly the past couple weeks. The world's greatest. But it's coming here now, Muhammad stepping forward and saying, that's me, I'm the greatest. His date of birth was January 17. I can't tell you how many birthdays have come up that were Capricorns. 1942, Louisville, Kentucky. And what was coming up in the news about Muhammad was that he's getting the go-ahead for the USPS stamp of approval, at least from his state anyway. His mother was Odessa Grady Clay, and that wanted to come up as well. And actually Clay came up in one of the definitions that came up as well. And then George Foreman came up on CNN August 25th, 22, who was accused of abuse by a former associate's daughter. So now he's getting into that play. So the symbols on the last card that came up of the sky and the SKY, which is the Sophia's KY, or energy at 0 point field, the hourglass of the toroidal field, and the K of energy, which also represents Taurus, and Orion can look like a K as well. They can both look like Ks next to each other. And the masculine and feminine at the finish line. Sophia's skywriting. The 8 and the 1 coming up here, less than the question why. The Irish knot weaving the sky drive. The plane back and forth. The Sophia, the S and the sine wave, the rocket trail, the quantum leap, where the Irish knot is living multidimensionally. So that symbol of the Irish knot is a symbol of living multidimensionally. 3 almonds or petals, 6 nadis or energy lines, the 6 degrees of separation, pedaling backwards to gain momentum, a deep breath to move forward, a retrograde, a loop, a takeoff, a rest, and a rest, to force you to stop and be still a moment. 6 is the spiral and the golden gate, the rose heart, the sweet heart, and the art of breaking through to the other side. To come together right now over me. So the Beatles were popping in right there. At the right angle of the left. So again, saying come together right now over me. So then when they said right, they were coming in with the left as well, but they say the left is the right angle. The 6 of the lovers in the cosmic womb and the divine feminine flower that touches all the other petals. All 6 petals touch another flower, and so on. So each 6 you connect with expands exponentially by 6 spirals. 6 to 6 to 36 times 6, which is 216 times 6, which is 1296, which is 36 by 36. 1441 is also coming up as the minutes in a day. It's actually 1440, but it's not exact because we have a leap year. So really 1441 minutes in a day is more accurate because it takes up most of that extra day that we have to add every 4 years. So 4 years of 1441 minutes in a day. And if you want to be exact, it was coming up as 1440.986986300137 minutes in a day if there were no leap day or no leap year. That's how many minutes should be in a year. In a day. And then 38 by 38 was coming up, which equals 1444 or 1444. So then something came up September 18th, which happens to be my birthday, but it's coming up for this article, was 9/18/1444. Mamluks departed from the island and lifted the siege. From August 10th, 1444, the siege of Rhodes by the Knights Hospitalier and the Mamluk. So the Knights came back to Rhodes to defend their hospitals basically there and got the Mamluks out of there. In 1522, the Ottoman Empire forced them to move to Malta. So Rhodes is the largest Greek island, and it's also referred to as the Island of the Sun, or the Island of the Knights, or Pearl Island. So this island was coming up. And as I'm reading this to you, I keep getting the minutes of the day. 525,600. I can't remember the numbers. But that song is coming up. In a day, in a year. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, that song keeps rolling in the back of my head as I'm talking to you. It's distracting me. So the significant date here was the year 1444, because the Knights Hospitalier, it's IER at the end, were of Jerusalem, and they kept having to move, because the different lands would get conquered. So they came back to Rhodes to defend their hospitals at that time, but eventually got kicked off the island and had to move to Malta, their headquarters. All right, so next. Sorry, it's a little bit choppy today, but it's just the way it was coming up. So then number 16, the empty well came up, and time for replenishment. And for me, it was I need to sleep. Or meditation. Stars in the sky in the middle of the bridge, as the King of Swords 51 has limitless possibilities. And the 54 Page of Swords, the crossing here with their initiation. Remember, 54 is the Page of Swords can be that Gemini energy of the twins, but also Mercury of Gemini and Virgo in their communications. The 27 of the heart home and compassion, the calm path connection or the easy path connection of compassion. And only 3 cards came up here. And the number 40 with the Page of Cups. In the mindful group think, with the innocent, the 21 of the baby's breath, that first breath, the beginner's mind. And again, that energy like of having not slept, you feel like a baby again because you can't think for yourself. but in the same breath, it takes all anxiety out of you. You know, you're just kind of like an open slate. You're like, you know, because you're just like, right. The Page of Swords is inspired by the Page of Cups here. Pisces, or inspired to complete, be whole, and come full circle, with the 48 of the 8 of Cups, walking away and within on the sky bridge, where the dancers surrender by walking away and within. And I was just getting walking like an Egyptian as well. The 2 of Swords, bliss and self-satisfaction as the lovers and divine feminines, suddenly with a need to fill up. At 6:09, the lovers and the hermit, the King of Swords and the Page of Swords, inspired by the Page of Cups, walking away to start over and surrender. And again, there's that very innocent energy coming up, because the King of Swords in the Metatron deck is very much of purity and innocence, as well as the Page of Swords, because they're a child. So that was the first one. So it had a lot of technical stuff and it was a bit choppy. And then we have message number 2. And this was on the 27th, so this was yesterday. All right, so, and here's the one from yesterday, same setup as the other one. Some Metatron deck on top, Nature's Whispers in the middle, and then Shaman Dreams. I'm just going to show it to you a little bit closer so you can see the cards better. Okay, and this is read number 2. So this was done at 11:38 to 42. And the pile of cards that came up were 17, 14, and 8. The Star, the Temperance card, and the Strength card. At 11:44, now the shining, dreams and healing and patience, balance, dancing to manifest. The stars, the angel, the stars and the angels dance together. Sparkly and pure, one step at a time, balancing water, or in other words, your emotions. At 11:50 is justice, and the 50 of complete emotional fulfillment, of the underlying energy of the 16 of sudden events, and gold, which is the G of the old, or the ancient one. The Holy Grail of love is epiphanizing to infinitum, the womb all lit up suddenly, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands with the heart lit up. Have a cup of heart, like a cup of joe, have a cup of heart inspired by gold. Old God, the ancient one, the electromagnetic twin flame quantum energy field. After the 46 of the soulmate inner children, the Emerald Order Knight of Cups steps down from being Emperor in order to epiphanize with the Knight of Wands, as the twin flame double diamonds in the sky, Sophia's KY, the energy field. 2 pushing and pulling to untie the knots, the twin flame open book test, the test of the moral man's path, to hang and be wise, review his story, to be at his best. And the first card out was the Metatron's Rainbow Bridge with 27, the Rainbow Arc beneath your wings, the ether wind or gravity pull, the rainbow around the world. It's no ahs, like in Noah, no ah arc, just O, long O versus short O, the tall or short human. The short ones, or the ah, and the long ones, the O, but the I's have it here, the I's have it, and the lowercase I, which is the chakra system, with the third eye being the dot on top, shocks Ra and takes you there. The arcing angel, or arcing angle, degrees of the circle, see the circle as C-ercle. Did I do that? The O and the Ah. He understands a flood's coming, so he shortened his pants. The C of the IR and the CLE, which means claw or clutch or hoof or possess or control. The oracle comes up here as well as the O. Remember, the O is the human embodiment of source. The Ra, which is the sun god, and the CLE, which I just gave you the definition of. So IR is you, to go, water, even, exactly, to follow or to come, to be, raw, unprocessed, fresh, succulent, and copper. So the whispering bench, to see, or the letter C, which is the whispering bench, to be raw, unprocessed, fresh energy, movement, to control or possess. The CIR is the candle, or the altar of the candle, the earth, the land, and the sky. To possess, claw, hoof, or control the divine flame, the earth, and the sky. 2 on the whispering bench, who are raw and unprocessed, live, to possess and clutch the flame. The oracle is the O-Ra-Kul, the human ray possession. And then the open book test. So today I grabbed the Metatron deck book. I just didn't look, I just pulled whatever was going to come out. And it opened to page 124 to 25, which was the card 54 of the Lilac and Believing in Magic. So I'm going to read that one to you. I rarely go into this book, so I just go, the cards I do off of my own intuition. But so here's the Lilac card. Get that focused a little bit for you. And number 54. Okay? So it's all about higher realms and magic. And again, this is the Metatron deck. And as a child, you once knew that anything was possible, that dreams could come true, that spirit was real. Maybe you saw things you couldn't understand, or failed to make grown-ups believe that what you could see was real. The fairies under the tree, the angel at the bed, or the relative in spirit sitting beside you. Or you may have a child in your life right now who can see and sense this. It may also be that your inner child needs to rediscover this sense of wonder now, too. So often we start believing, and then the heaviness of life can squash and diminish our ability to believe in magic and the happily ever after story. Disappointments, betrayals, and loss all leave their mark, and today you're asked once again to look up and wonder and what is possible for you. The Lilac Ray comes to remind you that the world of magic is all around you. You are asked to release your attention from the humdrum of ordinary life and believe in something extraordinary and out of this world again. For it is as real as anything else. Much is discovered through the layers of the consciousness and light. You're asked to lift your eyes to the stars rather than look down at the ground where you feel stuck or thwarted or uninspired. The realm of magic and enchantment is everywhere. The search for gold at the end of the rainbow, the glow of the moon, the fairy rings, the underwater world of the coral reefs, the dew on the fresh grass, and the twinkling stars. As children, we believed in fairy tales. We looked up to princesses and princes and sat open-mouthed at visions of fantasy. We have reached the moon. Man needed to have looked up and dreamed it possible. You too now need to reach higher, to dream bigger, and feel the magic of life stirring around you. Believing in the angelic realm also brings much comfort and support at this time. Meditating on the lilac angelic palace of this card helps you to attune and connect into this reality and feel angelic presence around you. This is Metatron at his softest, his most gentle, and at his most magical. Lilac is also a powerful purifier, so allow it to dissolve any negativity or sadness around you, as well as any fear of opening up to higher realms. The Lilac Ray also asks you to question what you believe. Chosen by deeply spiritual people who are often called to serve spirit in some way, you may question aspects of spirituality, angels, and source energy. Maybe you've had moments of doubt and crisis of faith. The Lilac Ray will pull you magnetically back to explore more, question more, and seek deeper truths. It is your soul's calling to you, reminding you that you're so much more than just a physical body. You are soul leading a physical life, not the other way around. You may also use this lilac energy to bring balance where you've been out of equilibrium. Containing both the red and blue rays, lilac effortlessly calms and balances two separate ends of the color spectrum and can now support and heal your body, mind, and spirit. A powerful, transformative, magical ray, connect to lilac and let it remind you that all stories start with once upon a time. So there's that card for you. So at 12:31, which is the Hanging Man and the Five of Wands, which can be chaos or perhaps the pursuit of happiness. It's 5:05 on the clock. The Queen of Cups, number 38, and the light body powered up. Head to toe and hands, claws and hoofs, the wise man and Mary Magdalene at either side of the rainbow, with 3D open book and 5D open crown and field, and bridging the two, with wisdom of the 12/3 and vision of the 38/11, the 1, 2, 3, and then 8 and 11. the 1, 2, 3 jump to infinity to dance and weave back and forth to align with instant manifestation. The pink of number 26 and the life bulb womb of self-love and nurture of the scalloped Magdalene. The magma was coming up like the magma of the volcano, but the Magda is coming up here as the Magdalene phased rays, like sunshine in a bulb, the lava line, where lava means to be enough, to wash. It's a platform or bed or stage. The magma may be extremely explosive mother of the mountains, but Magda is the likes you've never seen when the Father explodes. At 12:52, the Hanging Man and the Queen of Swords. And I was getting major connection there, especially in my lower legs. Bubbling up down deep for a long period of time. And when I looked up magma in Wikipedia, the picture of the volcano looked like a liver on fire, like it was molten lava, but in the shape of a liver, which is where anger is stored. That was for lava, not for magma. But you can look at the picture. It looks like a liver. A torrent of rain which has washed the streets. And then the INA, so I broke down lava and line, which remember the capital L is the right angle. And so lava is the right angle of Ava, and then line is the right angle of INE, which is the number 4, and water. But I was also getting 4-letter words. It also means I, Jaguar, in, like an inn as a hotel, and then in, IN. So the Jaguar came up, of wisdom, power, and authority. Quick, agile, and yet soft, elegant, and beautiful. Intelligent, mystical, and a mystical gaze, actually. He's got no natural adversaries. Its potential is endless, strength of silence. Introverted, and thrive in small groups or alone, but they're considered non-aggressives. It helps to stop choosing between the mind and the heart here. Power and control, circling of the mind. Wait until the last minute to make a move. They tend to work at night, but they are also honest. Take note of your own surroundings. And again, this all has to do with the Jaguar. So what was the difference between the Jaguar versus the Leopard? Well, the Jaguar is slightly taller at the shoulder and bulkier, heavier. They're the largest. The Jag has the strongest bite force of any mammal. The Jag's face is, though, rounder and friendlier, actually, than the Leopard. But the Jag is the one who's bulkier with that really strong bite force. Jags are stocky and barrel-like, where the leopard is more slender and agile and fast. They're both really fast, but the leopard's better at like taking his prey up a tree, where the Jag doesn't have to because he's not got no competitors. Because he doesn't, he's in South America, he or she, whatever the Jag is, but they're South America, they're not Africa and Asia, which is where the lions are. The tiger's the biggest, but they don't have that as a competitor. Each have rosettes in their patterns on their fur. The Jags have larger, more complex, with one or multiple spots in the center of each one. Both can be more black or completely black, which is rare. Black panthers can be either leopards or jaguars. It's good camo at night if they're black. If you look very closely at a black one, you can see the rosettas in the fur. The Jaguar has no natural predators. The leopard is attracted, or rather attacked by lions, but obviously they don't have a lot of predators either, but they are attacked by lions occasionally. The Jaguar primarily eats reptiles, whereas the leopard will eat pretty much anything. The leopard bites around the throat or the mouth to suffocate, where the Jaguars use canines to pierce the skull or sever the spinal column at the back of the neck. Both are good swimmers, but the Jaguar loves water, like tigers. The leopard, not so much. They don't really like the water. The leopard are better climbers and, again, storing food in the trees. The Jaguar with no need to, because they, don't have that competitor. The Jaguars leave their nest at 14 to 15 months, where the the leopard lives around 18 to 24 months. The cheetah is actually the fastest cat, but the cheetah, the jag, and the lion are the three top ones as far as speed, along with the Eurasian lynx as well. The tiger is the biggest cat, and that was at 133, the magician and the 33 of the Christ vibration, and standing up for oneself. And then I was getting back to the lava line again, and the shaman at 133, and the lava line. Remember, lava's to wash, stage, or be enough. And the line, Ava. Ava means hole opening, human, ancestor, or grandmother, or water. So it was coming up as the safe passage through the coral reef for the boats without stopping. The wing and the bee. So it's coming up as the grandmother, who's that person, which was so interesting because when I went for a walk with Teddy and my daughter, might have been yesterday, we stopped at a woman with 3 dogs, smaller than Teddy was. But the grandmother dog, because she was telling us who the dogs were, was being very kind to Teddy, even though Teddy was jumping, because Teddy's very young, he's only a year old. And she was being very tolerant of him and actually walking forward and not wanting to leave, because it's like, you know, she realized that he was an innocent, and even though he was so much bigger than the other 2 dogs that were with her, she was protecting him too from them. It was very interesting. She was so cute. She was being very democratic about the whole situation. It was very cute. So this energy of the grandmother is the safe passage here, and that's coming up as the lava energy. And this was getting personal because it was coming up as my grandmother, because my grandmother told me she's come in through, I have like 8 nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews now. But the right angle of the hole, the wing, the opening tour of water, the human, the ancestors, the safe passageway without stopping. So she is the lava that knows how to get through anything. Because remember, if the water can't get through, well, the lava will just burn right through it. Little Ava at the right angle, a tiny avenue to sneak through, just like trying to cross the border. A living, breathing volcano, the like for which you've never seen before. Grandma, to have, to own, to be enough, to possess. The epitome of flame possession. Her liver is molten, transmuting the anger of the world in one little angel, and she was coming through as an archangel incarnate. The AA was coming up also as 2 volcanoes, unstoppable bite force, the jaguar who just loves water and eats reptiles for dinner. And then my grandmother's name and my father's name was coming up, because the grandfather we never knew was my father's namesake. So Esther and Constantine were coming up, where Esther is the S and the sharpness of the thir, and the Constantine, which is interesting too, because it's also Esther and Constantine is my middle name, and my sister's middle name is Constance. And she was actually coming over to see me to visit. So there was just all this crossover that was coming in with this powerful energy coming through. And so I was breaking down my grandmother's name and the grandfather that I never knew, and we're pretty sure this man we found online is my grandfather, my father's father that we never knew. But the energy was coming through as, with Esther, of course, there's a lot of meanings with Esther because it's from the Bible, and her last name as well I broke down. So Esther comes up as the E star, the path of her, one equal and congruent to her path, making peace with her explosive side, and the dwarfed to white dense like the planet, right? The star is bright like a young person, but the dwarf planet is dense like the old person, but very wise. They're extremely powerful, but maybe they don't seem the brightest, right? Because they're old and slower. The energy of Esther, which also brings up E flat, with her last name was Mandelbaum, E flat, but played sharp, which then neutralizes it, brings it back to E again. Where the hamlet or the land meets the sky, Sophia's KY, the horizon line, which brings tears to your eyes, 2 almond eyes, the tree of the almond, which almond is all world, 2 diamonds, which is the twinkle twinkle, which is the twin key, little star, rises in the east, or the U.S. East Coast time. And then Constantine is constant in, the meltdown of seeing or wanting an allowance for overage. So this is one of the definitions, let's say you bought something for $100, but whatever you bought, sometimes there's a little more gets in there, so there's an overage allowance there. And you don't get charged extra for that. This was coming through in the definition for this as well. A grace period, wanting a do-over, having betrayed her, which Constantine had betrayed my grandmother, right? Because she got pregnant with my father, and he left. They could never have been together. She was a Jew in the war, and he was a Russian Orthodox who had been exiled from his country. So he wasn't in good standing either. And so he had betrayed her by leaving her pregnant, and then my grandfather ended up marrying her during the war. And then this was coming, one of the definitions was the two-masted Dutch vessels, the twin mast that's German. And then when I was looking this up to see what they were trying to get at, a crossword puzzle came up for a 4-letter word for a twin mast ship, which brig came up, B-R-I-G, as well as yawl, Y-A-U-L. From GodOwnedSize.com, 7 great boats with 2 masts. 1979 was the Freedom 40, 1977 was the Puma 38 Ketch, 1973 was Morgan Out Island 41. So there was some synchronicities there for me personally. But that was just a random site that had come up regarding these definitions. And again, I was getting this energy coming through as a powerhouse. She's a brick house. So very much the powerful energy of a feminine coming through. At 8:08, and then going back to the definitions of a brig and a yawl to see how this was coming through. Again, the lava line with 4-letter words. The Journey Through the Fire from oneinchdreams.com. The Journey Through the Fire and Ashes. And Ecuador is coming up. In California, a company Contiki, where they do trips, but they only take 18 to 35-year-olds. So they take you in South America to the volcano between eruptions. And then there was a site, dandawiki.com. Lava line 5 East spell came up. And then a lava line over Hot Springs in Idaho came up as well on Main Street, which was a zipline company. The Hanging Man and the Queen of Cups inspired to the Page of Wands' shaman's truth, offering peace pipe to the dragon sun, and offered to the volcano not to erupt. Communication of the 5, while the earth meets the fire, at the beach the water meets and deliver a message in a bottle and shell. The 37 of the King of Cups is asked to detach from drama and look up. The 8 of the leadership dance and the flame in hand, in answering the call to take flight and breathe. In the message from the beach, the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, where the King of Cups needs to look up at the Queen of Cups and lead the way for the Page of Wands to fan the flames of the volcano. And then 17 cards came up of dreams and healing, where the 54 is the Page of Swords. And another open book test there, to believe in magic, the message of the cosmos, and the dodecahedron. 2 over a decade or 2 decades of 20 points or bones of contention. Showering in diamond light for clarity on your shadow, go within. And the indigo then comes up with the 21 of the child or Pisces seeing her diamond light or her Capricorn. The magic of yellow jacket or the carpenter bee's joy and happiness. And the first card of yellow and buttercup and the Mary Magdalene with dolphin, seawater, and Sarah, I Cosa, I matter. Number 7, I matter for emotional well-being, that you are matter and you need water. The Capricorn needs Pisces, as the earth needs the water. The mother needs the daughter, their nourishment. The 35 of the wounded warrior causes the Kundalini to release and untapped energy, the 11 of the wake-up call of the Sagittarius in Libra, to listen to the call and note. The King of Wands, 23, requiring balancing act, with the 3 of the Empress and creation, and the 52 of the Queen of Swords with their priorities, the mother and daughter, awakening Terra, and the Queen of Swords, Big Bird, the extension of her rainbow, light, as the King of Wands feels off when the Empress and the Queen of Swords are not around. The 10 of the new dawn of high vibe destiny, and the new dawn that's every day, a new life, as the sun left a trail of bread crumbs, as a line is an arc or ship, and a circle is a spiral or a loop-de-loop. Welcome back, Cotter, traversing 3 universes, too close to the sun, you no longer feel their rays and will get burned. Jean Rayburn came up, and Match Game, and Family Feud with Richard Dawson also came up. And they're 2 very happy, funny guys, but who are also very personable and family-oriented, as coming up as very good examples in that respect. So Jean Rayburn was Eugene Jelievich. He passed away of heart failure in 1999. His father had died when he was an infant, and he didn't live in LA. He committed to fly to LA every 2 weeks to film. He was a radio announcer prior to that in the Air Force, World War II as well. He was born 12/22/17, so again Capricorn, to 11/29/99. And then Sideburns, with Jean Rayburn came up with Sideburns, which is coming up with Richard Dawson, coming together to heal. The 17 of stars and healing and conquering your fears, to dream and shine with the 44. The beacon, shine on. The energies you never forgot. Those who receive a lot of love hold a big responsibility to shine a big light and hold it, to stand strong and never waver. Spirit's connecting with me. The 44 of the emotional weight for Atlas here. The 14 of boundaries that need to be set daily. As the sun rises and the sun sets, the auric key is the aura of unity, the family vibration, being funny and hospitable. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twin key, the star of Bethlehem, the house of God, L'chaim, to life, and livers. So livers coming up as an organ, but also as a verb, one who lives. And the messenger of truth of the Knight of Swords, and the almond trees, where all eyes see, as mouth, hand, the world and the moon, to tell about the path of the tree back to the sun, from the root up and top down, the roots cleaving to each other, birth to death, ashes to ashes, dusk to dusk. The water inspires the mountain to fire up, and the air to fan the flames. Parts for all to play on the lava stage, the line arc, to be enough, to inspire. The lava line, where the right angle of the water wing, and she safe passage of the grandmother. The water was, and watery 4-letter words were coming up, which of course love comes up there. But remember, there is no line, there only are curves. The water wing and the safe passage of the grandmother. The right angle of water wings and the right angle of water 4-letter words is the safe passage of the grandmother, and love, of course. Little Ava and little Aini, like a little hiney, a small window of opportunity at the last minute, but makes it, of course. At 10:13, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the transition of the underlying energy of the number 50 and emotional fulfillment of the 10 of Cups, and the potential gateway of the family tree, the Mary tree, the one of making a wish, Dandelion of Dandelion, the Lord of the Ring, able to get the tiger to jump through hoops and loops, and get the jaguar to dance despite his dangerous bite. And the 36 of Atlas that holds the brain on fire, holds the sun contained in close range and capped until the crown blows wide open, and exposes its light or height of flame, and articulation fanning, speaking the words aloud, keeps the reception going. It keeps a clear channel and with the hair antenna of intuition, which is the in-twit connection, the twin towers of you and I. The TT of Axis and Atlas, partnering up to hold the world. The AA of Archangel, the axis or line, and the Atlas or angle, angel, direction. The longitudinal interference, the long flame of the arch or the brighter star, when it burns out, becomes one of 7 dwarfs, the 17 of the star, from bright light to white and dense, aging tree, and damn it, Janet, Brad decrees at 1027, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands, be the tree and blow, see me and grow, beside me heal and glow, glow bright. The hair and scalp are like the tree and flowers. They can't help but stick up. And then Einstein and Edison came up. And my father totally had Einstein hair when he had been working for hours. His hair would be sticking up all over the place. So, but what was interesting also that came up here about glowing, I read this afterward about Venus, that they describe Venus as not sparkly, but glows. So, be tree and blow, see me and grow. Beside me, heal and glow. Glow bright. The hair and scalp look like tree and flowers. Can't help but stick up. Einstein and Edison. Einstein breaks down to Ein is a bird and Stein is a stone or star as well. One Stein, star or stone, or duck, end or eyes. Duckstein, Pittsburgh's #1 fire and water damage or restoration specialists. And then Duckstein is also a brewery and a type of beer. And then one star or one stone or bird star or birdstone, and ED for Edison is on, the extra dimensional. The bird stoned and Ed is on, Ed McMahon came up. Again, these are all these people who are very hospitable and funny, but very family-oriented type of people. Albert Einstein, a German-American physicist, born, of course, everyone knows, March 14th, 1879 to April 18th, 55. He, that was in Princeton, New Jersey. The Nobel Prize in Physics from 1921 for photoelectric effect. Einstein's 2 wonders that affected his early years, he said, or he was quoted as saying, the first was the compass at age 5. He was intrigued by invisible forces that could deflect the needle. And the second was the book of geometry at age 12, which he devoured, calling it his sacred little geometry book. Because he became deeply religious at age 12, but then changed after reading science books that contradicted his beliefs. A lasting impression of challenge to established authority. He felt the Prussian-style education victimized him and stifled his originality and creativity, and being told he'd never amount to anything. At 16, he had a medical student tutor who ended up being a big influence on him, and showed him a children's series by Aaron Bernstein. The author imagined riding alongside electricity that was traveling inside a telegraph wire. So Einstein said for 10 years after that, he thought about what it would be like to be a light beam. What would a light beam look like if you could run alongside of it? If light is a wave, then the beam should appear stationary, like a frozen wave, but had never been seen, so it was a paradox to him. He wrote his first scientific paper, The Investigation of the State of Ether in Magnetic Fields, and he left Germany, basically ran away, which is funny because somebody else who came up today ran away too. He became a Swiss citizen in dodging the German army in 1901. So Thomas Alva Edison was February 11th, 1847 in Ohio to October 1831 in West Orange, New Jersey. So again, both in New Jersey. In age 12, he was deaf in one ear, almost completely deaf in the other. Apparently, it turned out to be in his favor because it helped with distractions. He might have had ADHD, I don't know. It came up in the description there, and this is all from Wikipedia. The first industrial research lab, 1876, was in, is it Mento Park? I forget, I've been there. In the Raritan Township, Edison area there. Electric power generator, mass communication, sound recording and motion picture, the camera, and the light bulb were all Edison. Both solved problems in their sleep. That was another trick they both used. At 11:11 here, 23 is the King of Wands, that you are worth it, your vision of how things should be. And in this picture, the masculine's not seen in the picture, just his vision of the feminine at the beach and this beautiful horizon with the flowering upon the horizon, and a little rowboat on the beach for the two as their ship's coming in. Your vision is worth it for you. And remember to trust your vision, even if it's not the same as other people. At 11:11, the 14 of assurance of what hasn't worked before, and the 28 of the twin flames in their bountiful harvest. The Atlas King of Wands is patient, and the twin flames 46, the 6 of Cups, with gratitude and appreciation. The 34 of the 8 of Wands and vulnerability, and the need for complete trust and energetic exchange, and for the Emperor to take a pause. The little girl in the leaf and the touchstone tree, remember, she's completely vulnerable to this leaf that she's flowing down the river in, and she's completely vulnerable to the tree that she always comes back to touch, right, to feel at home again. Trusting in the adventure while grounding at home. The 47 of laughter, of playing with their avatar bodies. Pegasus dashing across the clouds, causing thunder rolls, and tempting the clouds to cry, hoofing it, with synchronicities in heaven in their eyes. The 27 of maintaining your childlike spirit of fairy dust and swinging even when it's winter out. The 14 cards of patience and balance, of the Page of Cups, innocence and strong support. The 31 of being spontaneous and reaching out for help, and the 11 of alignment but making decisions, with the 18 of new experiences and possibilities, to align with the daughter and the moon for sudden inner truths. The 17 of the dreams and infinite blessings of fairy dust across the land, and the 26 of the Page of Wands, to be true to your heart and be inspired, excited, knowing your ship is coming in. Your double diamond calls been made. The 10 of destiny, to open your heart. So whatever you've been through was destined to get your heart to open up. The 41 of the Ace of Cups, to be in service to the little seahorse. The 39 of the Knight of Cups, with a clear endeavor to end emotional attachments and the spring. For the Russian snow princess, takes higher ground in a wake-up call to night lights. The 43 of coming together from the ship to the spaceship. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a little chariot carrying lava to amplify your positive emotions as ripples pave forward, guided by the ancient ones. The 48 of the walking away within, of hope and happiness. To the breeze of the ocean, as all flock together where land meets the sea, wild and free, in the age of Aquarius, which is the emotion of laughter, where O is so serious, but Ah is so light. The child shines bright, but the grandmother is so light. The child shines bright, but the grandmother is so light in her energy. The 1132, right? So the grandmother may be the dense dwarf planet, but she's very light, whereas the child's very bright, but maybe not as light in energy as the grandmother, because she's lived through it all. The 11 of the Justice, and the 32 of the Journey here, where the underlying energy is the twin flames of the 28 and the hollowing of the self as the moose with eyes of the eagle, and the 18 of rising above the fray as the decorated oracles. The vets, which VETS is literally the lavatory, which is the lavatory, the platform of conservative UK, or the toilet. Lava is to be enough, to tour the Y in the road, and then tour came up too, Glastonbury tour. Lava is to be enough to tore the Y in the road, to return, pour, respond, rethink, net, belly, gateway, tall rock, high tower, towering warrior, the pillar, the rook, the bull, the path, the course, and the trajectory, as well as thorium, which I think that was the element that came up regarding North and South Carolina and the medical hospitals. The torus, the tower, march is also coming up as one of the definitions. The corral, the novice, the young beginner, the recruit, the narrow, the tight, the string, to take to get the bull by the horns. And then the 28 and the 18 at 11:44. The twin flames and the purple moon with the king of wands for the wheel's fortune with luck and right timing. The 19 of the falling angel and the sun of exposure. The 2 of the beloved divine feminine with radical acceptance of the heart on fire. For the little Cancer Leo, the little lava, the L at the right angle of Ava, and Tedward. The T is the toggling up for time, taking a break. And Edward is the ED of the extra dimensional and the ward. So now I'm getting the hospital wards of North Carolina that I talked about when I was there, of Charlotte. Lava and Tedward, and that's actually Jenna's nickname for Teddy. So little the L of Ava or Ava and the T of Edward, the right angle and the toggling up for a timeout to go within, which is also bringing up LA, go, and toggle up extra dimensionally in the ward, the Ed ward, the right angle of the ancestor or the grandmother in Ted's ward, a timeout extra dimensionally with 2 U's on a path. The 32 of the jeweled web, which jeweled is I, child, connected on the web. The journey of good news, and the 62, the will of the wisp, to your ill, of the long O to the nth degree, or overtime, and the E, wisp, the 1 equal and congruent to 2 U's. Not especially but ISP, which is the chakra system. So instead of ESP, it was coming up ISP. I wasn't getting where I was going there. But E is equal and congruent to 2 U's. Not ESP, but ISP, the chakra system sensory perception. Tired of imprisonment. And the O, and feel how your mouth goes when you do O as opposed to ah, right? They feel very different. The O of wanting the ahs, and even the oohs, to release from anxieties in the 50 of the 10 of cups and the spirit of the river and movement towards adventure. With good news on the prison planet, one big happy family, the 29 of being present in the moment, the horned cactus, resourceful and present, and the 8 of the crown games, but the need for right use of power here to take the crown down, with 8 cards coming up as well, with the 4 of opportunity and the 4-letter words, to cater to the pillar, with Pisces and Aries takes the bull by the horns. The Taurus of March, the apple's movement, the longitudinal interruption or interference causing the new trajectory. And there's the Taur in trajectory as well. The lavatory, the lavatory, the molten liver, transmuting anger is poop. At 12:08, and now the day changed, it was now 8:28 today. At 12:08 is the hanging man and the dance of the 8, the 55 of the truth and the farther gate, of 2 gates and 2 suns, Bill Gates and Trump gate, and the set of the rising sun, or 2, twin suns. And the lead story was the twin collapses, who dies while training in South Carolina for the National Guard, and this was a Pennsylvania resident. Twin sisters who were 17 years old, and again, one died during training in South Carolina. August 26, 22, twin sisters marry twin brothers and have identical sons. March 11, 53, the Vanderbilt twin sons entered Jersey politics. That was in the New York Times. And then now, this was June 10th, 14, from usnews.com, Nick and Andrew D. Iorio were two different politicians. One was Republican, one was Democrat, twin brothers. I didn't see anything currently on them, but that came up in 14. The Emperor's Truth and the Drifter, patiently drifting, coming together in the overflow at 1221 of good and plenty and the need for rebalancing. The 37 of the King of Cups and the Magician's Sword in confidence in his magic. And the one of the tidy house with the woodwives adapting to end the pain and betrayal and close the door completely this time for freedom at 1224, the Hanging Man and the Queen of Wands. So now we have read number 3, and this is the one from today. So again, the same setup. I'm just going to show you the cards. I'm in a little bit closer so you can see the pictures better. So top deck is Metatron, then Nature's Whispers, and then Shaman Dreams. So this was done this morning. I was up very early because I take my daughter to the airport. So after I got back, it was I finished at 7:20 here, 7:17 to 7:20, Metatron, Nature, and Shaman Dreams. And the 3 piles that came up were 26, 6, and 27, which is the Page of Wands, the Lovers, and the Ace of Wands. Excited lovers inspired. With the 35 of the Kundalini, the 46 of Gratitude and Appreciation, and the 12 of the Dragon's Hoard as the underlying energy for the 3 decks. The untapped energy source of the Wounded Warrior, and the 6 of Cups soulmates or pet hanging out, protecting the future and being wise. The underlying energy of the Queen of Cups and JC 33 and sunset between them. The activated light body at sunset each day, purging the space between you and the Golden Gate. An invitation to purge and release and connect up with Jesus, to hook up, literally up. At 7:28, which is my brother's birthday actually, 7:28 is the Chariot and the Twins. The first card out was the 11 of Alignment and Justice, Truth and Balance, and an announcement, a wake-up call to listen and leap, and then circle back around in the 34 of Energetic Exchange with the ancestors to gain momentum to travel on from orange to gold, clearing the energy lines of the Tree of Life, which comes up with the 32 there. And there's very much a pattern of flow here of doing that loop-de-loop kind of energy. The Wounded Warrior releasing untapped energy and that path of the Wounded Warrior to make a call to align with the truth and balance and then leap on the merry-go-round of life on the Fool's Journey with 26 cards and the Page of Wands who's excited, and it's very much that energy of a child who's at the amusement park. The 31 of transformation of light and dark to create the 3 of the Mother Nature, expanding your life with the 49 of the family and you getting your wish, and the circles of life of the 42 of 1-to-1 energies going with the flow on the whispering bench, on a wing and a prayer with the King of Swords of white, purity and innocence, and of the 46 of the innocent inner children of authentic self. And who are you today? The 13 of transition of the air that you breathe and to fly free in the King of Wands' duality that needs balance. The 22 of the Fool's Journey and Archangel Sandalphon is with you now, and again was coming up as Sarah this week, the daughter of Jesus and Mary. The 2 of the Divine Feminine High Priestess with time out needed in the purple moon with Excalibur and the silver sword of union. The caliber of the word of connection. To remember to believe in magic. The 54 of the Page of Swords of Gemini and the Twins. To the moon, Alice. To shower in diamond light. To clear Daddy's little girl. So again, this was coming up too. Daddy's little girl. So you might want to look up those lyrics again. They're really sweet lyrics. So Daddy's little girl coming up. The Fool's Journey of the Divine Feminine Union. With a message about the shadow of the Queen of Swords, 52. With the priorities to open a book to see new perspectives in the Akashic records as the cosmos mirrors you in a wake-up call. Twin key, little star. 20 and back to mother's love, the aqua rose gold heart, the 6 of the Lovers, and shining in pure white and golden rainbow, two sides of the same coin, the open book and the open heart, and the wake-up-call bridge of the dodecahedron of 12 and 20 years and 30 home again, to the 10 of the high-vibe destiny of a new dawn in the valley of light, the flame height, in the phased array of the sun, to the human heart's evolution, birthing the page of cups, to healing hands, coming together as the child is placed in the mother's hands with serious alignment and blue gifts to bring. She is offering a safe passage here, assuring it, actually, with the number 4, and then letting go in the fall as he becomes a man at 758, the Chariot and the 4 of Swords of the 5D connection. Molly's little girl, or Daddy's little girl, that's Molly smiles. Makes a rainbow. I forget the lyrics, but anyway, look up the lyrics. Time for release in the fall, as above so below. The 41 of the weeping willow reflects compassion from the heart to the void. The 48 of the walking away within. The void was coming up here as the VO and the ID, and then of course the symbol of the 30 with the crown on top. The VO is Volapük. I never heard about this before, but Volapük is very significant here. It literally means language of the world, or world speak. From 1879 to 1880, Johann Martin Schleyer, a Catholic priest in Baden, Germany, believed that God told him in a dream to create an international language with European grammar and English, German, and French as well. It was mostly based on English, but had other parts in it. In 1884, it was Frederick Schaffen, and then 1887, I'm sorry, that's the location. 1884 was Germany, and then 1887 was Munich. 1889 was the meeting in Paris. The first two conferences, they used German, but in the last one, it was all Volapük. In 1889, there were 283 clubs, 25 periodicals, 316 textbooks in 25 languages, with nearly 1 million adherents. Started with a sketch of it in 1879 in a Catholic poetry magazine he was the editor of. In the 1920s, Henri de Jong, with consent of leaders of a small remnant left over from this group, made a revision of the Volapük, published in 1931 Volapük Nieuwlik of New Volapük. He simplified the grammar and the words. There was a brief renewal in the Netherlands and Germany, but it was suppressed under the Nazi rule and never recovered from that. In 1898, a Spanish scientist, Santiago Romani Cajal, wrote, Volapük or Esperanto war just left one more language to learn amidst scientific works being published in multiple languages already. A multiple collection held by Esperanto Museum in Austria, Switzerland, and the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia. Remember I said that because that comes up again today. The American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia was one of the places that holds the records of this language. In 2000, there were estimated 20 Volapük speakers in the world, so it literally had dwindled down to nothing. In December 2007, a version of it in Wikipedia jumped to 15th place among language editions, over 112,000 articles from 797 in a few months, due to an enthusiast who used a computer program to automatically create geographical articles for many at small villages to gain visibility for the language. March 13th, Esperanto was up to 176,792 articles, and Volapük in Wiki was 119,091 articles. So over the years, they had a list of the names of the people who continued this language. From 48 to 50 was Jacob Sprenger, 50 to 77 was Johann Schmidt, 77 to 83 was Johann Kruger, and then 84 to 2014 was Brian Bishop, 2014 to the present Herman Phillips. So it's still ongoing. So the word vo means from, of, the letter V, to be worth, to go, U, ox, which is also 0 and X, which is hugs and kisses, to wash, to make into a ball. So the void is literally the ox ID, to be worth ID, creation ID, unified language of hugs and kisses ID. Right? So isn't that the best unified language, is showing love? So Daddy's little girl came up again at 8:30, which is the dance of the union, and then Mommy's little boy with Holy Grail, and again the energy of the hole, the tunnel. The Holy Grail is the hole in the G-rail tunnel, which is Ava, the opening, for the Holy Spirit, Sophia, to travel from the heart to the void, the 3D void, the 0-point field, the creative human's ID, to void, to find your imprint, your quote-unquote union ID badge was the message I was getting. Your so-called bad energy that comes from a dark philosophical place, Philadelphia and Sophia, beloved's wisdom. So of course I went back to the definitions of the three, because we have now Philadelphia and Sophia. So of course Sophia is wisdom, but what came up here was Phila, the abbreviation of Philadelphia, is to be well, alive, and healthy. And Philadelphia is known for all of its hospitals. It has many, many hospitals. It also means dear beloved and a Mediterranean island. And Philadelphian was also 17th century Protestant group in England, as well as King Ptolemy II, who was called Philadelphus. Ptolemy literally means sibling love because he married his sister. He was born on the island of Kos, which is my dad's nickname, in 309 to 308 BC, which those numbers are significant for me as well, because that's referencing the the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups. He had 2 full sisters and many half-siblings. So Ptolemy I had Ptolemy II declared king as co-regent while he was still alive, until the father died, and then there was lots of wars because the stepbrother was supposed to be the king until he was born, so of course there was fights after he left. There were ongoing issues between him and his half-brother, who expected to be king prior to that. Ptolemy married his older sister, which of course was not a big thing for them, but it was for the Greeks. They were very shocked. It was traditional, though, for the Egyptians, and shocking to the Greeks. 272, he pronounced him and his sister wife to divine status as the Theo Adelphoi. So Adelph, Phoi, was considered the calling him the sister pair, the sister brother pair, and then he added the Theoi to make it the divine pair, the sibling gods. He carried a pair, or she carried a pair of cornucopia with a thorn of plenty, or a small ram's horn behind her ear. And again, they were used like a baby sack, to carry food while they had their hands free to pick up the food. They also had a big festival, the Ptolemania, which was every 4 years, a feast for 130 people and athletic competitions, a big procession with floats of the gods, beginning with the morning star, the Theoi Soteres, which was again his name, and culminating with the evening star. 24 chariots drawn by elephants, followed by a procession of lions, leopards, panthers, camels, antelopes, wild asses, ostriches, a bear, and a giraffe, and a rhino, most of them in pairs. Delphi is the ancient Greek city of the Oracle of Delphi, the high priestess of the Temple of Apollo. Pythic, or Pythoness, the original name of Delphi, which meant to rot, because it was the sick smell of the rotting python, the monstrous python that was slain by Apollo, which was one of Venus's names. Her shrine dates back to 1400 to 8 BC through the late 4 AD. Among the most powerful women in the world was this high priestess, basically. Delphin is the fatty substance in the oil of dolphins and the porpoise. It also means dolphin, or the dauphin, the French crown prince or oldest son, also a place in the southeast of France and Pennsylvania and Canada, Dauphin. And Delphius is the womb. Sophie is also Sufi, mystic Muslim, but also the man of wool and wise men and sages. But Sophia is learning, wisdom, and high knowledge, as we all know. So Philadelphia is the birth of the Constitution, and Ben Franklin then came up at 927. He was in office as the 6th president of Pennsylvania, in office October 18, 1785 to 11/5/88. He organized and was the first secretary of the American Philosophical Society, which I just brought up because they hold the records of that language. He was elected president of Pennsylvania in 1769. He was actually registered, according to Wikipedia, as an independent, which was kind of interesting. He was born in Massachusetts and moved at 17. Again, he ran away as well. He often visited Bethlehem, PA, staying at the Moravian Sun Inn, and he was a Freemason. 1730 to 31, was invited to the local Masonic Lodge, and he became Grand Master in 1734 and was a Freemason for the rest of his life. Founder of the University of Pennsylvania as well, or the school that became the University of Pennsylvania. So his life lesson was number 41, which is the Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail, reflecting the weeping willows and walking away and within to the void, the vo-id, to be worth his own identity, the universal language of love. Mother Earth of the 18 and Daddy's little girl, Sarah Franklin Bach, 1743 to 1808. She was born September 11th, 43 in Philadelphia to 10/5/1808 in Philadelphia. She was a leader of the relief work during the American Revolutionary War and frequently served as her father's political hostess. Her nickname was Sally, and her brother had died of smallpox at age 4. Also, she had an older half-brother, William Franklin, who was an illegitimate son that they raised. Her daughter was her namesake, so she had a daughter, Sarah Franklin Bach. But she had 2 daughters named Sarah Franklin Bach. The first one died at less than a year old. She married Thomas Sargent, later Associated Justice of the Supreme Court and Postmaster of Philadelphia. In her father's autobiography, they don't mention the daughter at all, and hardly mention Deborah, which was his wife. And there was issues with that too, because she couldn't marry him right away, and anyway, there was, she was his common law wife for a while. But anyway, but the daughter wasn't mentioned in his biography at all. After the Revolutionary War, he returned to Philadelphia and lived with his daughter and family for the rest of his life, very much enjoying his grandchildren, especially his namesake grandchild. So there was a reference here coming up as the twins in this regard, right, of a grandfather with his namesake and a mother with her namesake. And she had 2 namesakes because she had another daughter who died. The life lesson for him was to learn from his daughter about love, with her Earth Mother grounding support, untying the karmic knots with his namesake, and she with her namesakes of Sarah, who died at 8.5 months old. The wounded warriors of the Philadelphia story, from the wounded warrior's path to the fool's journey. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, twin key, Esther, E-star, which is also the ash that is sharp. The little Eve, the daughter of the bright, sharp light. The ox, the kisses and hugs, and works hard, the loving parent, in other words, which is coming up as Sarah. She was very much the rock for him, especially after his wife wasn't around anymore. At 10/11, which is the wheel and the 11 of justice, the underlying energy was to be of service to the young. The 41 of his life lesson number in the Ace of Cups of the Holy Grail is the Ava G rail, the portal of love, that love matters. The 43 of coming together in joy, for the bird ship to open up, to trust your own understanding, and to the moon for the 2, High Priestess, the divine feminine's illumination of the daughter who follows in the mother's footsteps. The 46 of soulmates, with gratitude and appreciation for where they've been. The deep bond forms between the little girl and their unicorn. The mother taking delivery of her little seed, allowing all other ships to sail, and side by side through declaration of independence becomes aware of and learns to appreciate them being there for them always, and how much they have in common, helps them to love themselves, coming full circle from the little boy delivery to the little girl's independence. And the first card out was at 1019, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. The 24 of the Queen of Wands, and the Wild Child, to be your best self always. The mermaid with the crazy rainbow hair rides the seahorse, all grown up now, you see. The Maid of the Sea, Poseidon's maid, who met Pegasus and lived happily ever after under the sea, of deep, happy emotions. The 50 of emotional fulfillment and the potential gateway of the magical family tree. The Queen of Wands waited for Prince to be fully matured and worthy of her wisdom, would rather be alone than with the wrong partner, draining your energy. Instead, the Maid of the King, who was being treated as less than, and then has been her own king. She's played all of the parts and is now ready for her perfect match, who's fully matured, all grown up, after freeing them as the child she was never allowed to be. She has graduated to the magical mystery tour, My Story to Where You Are. The magnetic inner child, My Path of Epiphany at 0 Point, or Glastonbury tour. The Hill of Somerset, by the roofless St. Michael's Tower of clay and blue lias, the limestone and shale, from 195 to 200 million years ago. There were several buildings that were constructed on that spot. There was an early church in Monk's Hermitage, a wooden church that was destroyed 1275, and a stone church of St. Michael. But in the 14th century, but whose tower still remains. It was restored and partially rebuilt several times, of course. From Glastonbury, the word is actually Glastonbury, was the original word, which is the energy of a fortified place. And the tour is a bare rock mass surmounted or surrounded by blocks and boulders. This is all from wikipedia.org as well. I can't tell you what the Celtic name is. It's YNYSWYDRYN or YNYS Gutrin, Gutrin, which equals the Isle of Glass. So when it's flooded, it was an island, but at low tide, it was a peninsula with iron-rich waters of the Chalice Wall and the spring at the base. On low-lying damp ground, there's a visual effect called Fata Morgana appears to rise out of the mist, or like out of nowhere. From Morgan Le Fay, source, of course, this coming up as the sorceress from Arthurian legend. There are 7 deep terraces on the sides, a mystery as to why. Perhaps the labyrinth or the spiral walkway to the church on the summit, seemingly arising out of nowhere. The potential gateway, a family tree within the rock that's flipped over, I was getting. Like the tree used to be there, but now the rock's on top and the tree's growing down beneath. The northern lights below, the entry through the heart or the spring. And the 6 of the lovers then came up. And it was really interesting, though, that Morgan came up because my little Ava is Ava Morgan. So her name kept coming up, and she's supposed to be my grandmother. So at 1104, which is Justice and the 4 of the Emperor, the big picture of the North Pole territory and what once lived there. The Sirius Morning Star and the King of the Hill, 1111. The left hand healing to the butt of the earth, while the eyes are healing the North Pole for the flowers to grow. The little girl and the unicorn, and then the young lady and the seahorse, with potential to see the big picture of what family love really is. At 1108 of Justice and the Dance, of the 6 cards that then came up, and the 5 of Freedom and clearing out the old, and hugging a tree when the shadow pops up, and the need to ground yourself, as to not be in fear of the dark. The 9 of the Hermit and the perfect setting of the Hermit's sun rising, inspired by maintaining your childlike spirit, with patience and assurance from all who have gone before. The 25 of the Knight of Wands, keeping your dreams alive, as the blue baby Sarah blows kisses from beyond at 1111. And again, Sarah referencing Mary and Jesus' daughter. At 11:12 is the underlying energy of repairing the veil with forgiveness, the drifter with experiencing life as it comes, and then patience and balance of the 14 and higher love, and the twin supports as the king of the hill in energetic exchange gets a lay of the land in July. Remember, this is the underlying energy, so we just passed July. One is floating down the river, and one climbed a mountain. The 48 of walking away within as the sky dancers, surrendering to the winter's dream, the hiding away, the gestation, the hibernation. The 63 of the suffering in silence for some, the cold spell, to the dragon's hoard. The 12 of hanging out and being wise with new perspectives from down the river or up on the mountain. At 11:18 of justice and the moon, the 29 of the horned cactus with the prickly pear and the resourcefulness being present with their gifts, and the 46 of the root girl of the disowned self, one with too much defense and one with none and collapsed in a ball. The 35 of the lost compass, and there's that Albert Einstein at age 5 where he learned by the compass. The wounded warrior who lost his way and needing to discern at the 11th hour of 11:11, the morning star Venus, where Venus does not twinkle but glows with silvery light, the shepherd's star, or the nightlight of the sky, according to the person writing the article in space.com. Both Mercury and Venus are inner planets and had dual identities, or IDs, two names thinking they were different planets on opposing sides of the sun. Mercury was Apollo in the AM and Hermes in the PM, where Venus was Phosphorus in the AM and Hesperus in the PM. So sorry about that. Apollo is coming up as Mercury. Pythagoras discerned the difference between them, realizing it was the same planet of each, around the year 5. 11:33, Sirius in the sky between July and mid-September. So Sirius was coming up as significantly in the sky there too for the morning star. So from open data CERN.ch at 11:44, there was just an article headed Proton to Proton Data Sample at the collision energy of 7 TeV, lowercase e, capital V, from run number 120822, and in parentheses LHC, which is one of the collider, the 10C-PP-ESD-12822 ALICE collaboration. And ALICE just came up the other day in my read. And then I'm getting again to the moon, Alice. So they're doing something with the collider and the moon. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. There you go. So at 11:48, wisdom in the presence of soulmates, when unable to discern, hanging out still as the inner children, as the 35 wounded warrior of discernment, around the world, completing the path 11:11 as Pisces ends and begins at the same time, taking their first breath. So the root girl very much is coming up as that kind of Piscean energy of the little girl, daddy's little girl, like in the movie where she's just lost, right, without her father. And this is the picture of this is so sweet. It's of her, like she's the root of the tree, but it's a tiny little tree and she's all disheveled, and it's just this little girl sitting there like a mess and all curled up in her lap, like not knowing what to do. And now back at her first breath with 27 cards, the 40 of the mindful, Page of Cups of Pisces, and the 64 of the woodwives, who were kept apart from the center as the go-betweens, but not part of the think tank. The 53 of the Knight of Swords were the strangers curious to dive in, and perhaps dive in deep in the water, and with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords, with bliss between them, the Emperor's unraveling with the Empress, the compassionate cat and the Empress benefactor of grace and generosity, the 19 of the falling angel and the sun exposed by the moon maiden, the 41 in new beginnings, holding her own, carrying the moon or the daughter, the Pisces, and the 51 of the King of Swords, with stars in the sky and limitless possibilities. The 57 of the Three of Swords and the unmarked trail, revelation, the labyrinth and pressure of sudden empty well, and the time for beloved, for radical acceptance of them, and the heart on fire. At 12:35, the hanging man and the wounded warrior, of the divine feminine high priestess and the inner war of the wailing tree in reconciliation, with the 52 of the Queen of Swords, who's straddling both worlds, as doing the dance of the 8 in the crown games, but with right use of power. To dance in the union, number 30, and the horseman heralding in the changes, to the 61 of risk of the whale song and resonating with music of the spheres. The King of Swords of stones and stars, and confusion under pressure with sudden epiphanies or emptiness, with the divine feminine in the inner war with the Queen of Swords. Reconciliation, to dance without the crown and manifest at home, taking a risk, to bottom out and stand up for oneself and find your muse, your joyful inspiration. The 9 of the Hermit, which is also one and all, dancing on one foot in a delicate, graceful balancing act. The 26 of the Page of Wands, excited to gather around the power of community, and the 7 of the unwritten sacred covenant, the divine feminine in the masculine ascending the cosmic womb of the lovers, the divine feminine's jeweled web, the journey of the child bringing good news. Look, Mom, I did it. The 39 of the Metox, repairing the body, mind, and spirit, and the Knight of Cups, loving themselves first, while the Dream Thief continues to try to distract them in the transition. The 42 of the Netcaster, 1-to-1, with their preparations now coming to fruition, and the 28 of the Twin Flames, who are hallowed and humbled, but I was just getting the Holland Tunnel as well, hallowed and humbled upon or open to a new lesson. The 56 of the Wall and the 2 of Swords, hiding inside one's self, projecting other parts as a fortified fortress, immovable pillar. At 12:50, the hanging man, finding emotional fulfillment with the Wall, pretending not to know, a wake-up call to the Queen of Wands gifts, a leap of faith in the gateway of the root girl, disowned part of herself, the pulling in from off-planet, damn it, Janet, to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where they just stopped for assistance and got sidetracked into another dimension by a mad scientist with sudden wealth who likes the attention that parties bring. Such a drama queen, bringing in devices from off-planet. The Amazon queen on the road again, back to the green, but they can never go back there again. They took a first breath and woke up from a dream. Ah, ah, I heard the news today, oh boy. Double diamonds in the sky, weaving back and forth to untie the knots in the karmic grid, inspired to keep their dreams alive. So they went into a dream, and hit the wall, where you can see out, but they can't see in. The 2 U's, all obstacles in my way. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. And there's the end of that read. Spirit was just connecting with me big. All right, so now back to the Twin Flame read on the table, as we're at 2 hours already. This is a pretty fast one, actually. It's really pretty short. And we're at 2:03:33, it just was. And here is the Twin Flame read that you see on the table. And here is the basic read with this SIRIAN Starseed deck. Okay, and then here is the 7-deck read with all the clarifiers. And just some of these, there were some pictures on here from the beach. They were just so cute, these little boys, being kids. And she was so animated. She was so cute to take pictures of. Look at her. They're so innocent. Just, you know, take in that energy of innocence. And just some of the cloud pictures here that were coming up, they were kind of cool. All right, so here we go with the Twin Flame read. This was cut and dealt at 9:47, the Hermit and the 47, which is the 7 of Cups. And then 9:58 was the N of Crystals, with capital N for me is Christ. the Christ of crystals, which is being Christ-like, and also purging in cry stalls. But also why stalls came up, right? Asking why, or why in the road stalls, not being able to make a decision. With the 9 and the 58, which is the connection of the 5D of the hermits. And then at 10:13, I finished clarifying, and the major arcana were karma, abundance. Before the read was the shadow and alchemy, and after the read was the fool, indigo, and guidance, which is the hierophant. There were 2 pentacles, 3 cups, 2 cups, and 3 swords. Excuse me, 2 swords. 2 pentacles, 3 cups, 3 wands, 2 cups, and 2 swords. So 23-22, which is the King of Wands and the Fool's Journey. We had the Knight of Pentacles, King of Wands, Queen of Cups, Knight of Wands, and Queen of Swords all in the read. The 9 of Wands Wounded Warrior is in the read as well. The Page of Pentacles came up before the read, and the King of Pentacles, King of Cups, and Knight of Swords came up after the read. You see how many people were in the energies here in the past couple days. The numbers were very specifically 789, which is the 5D, and the 2 of the High Priestess, Divine Feminine. In a lesser sense, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the first half, as well as 12 of the Hanging Man, 23 of the King of Wands again, and 57 of the 3 of Swords. The code line was all about relationship change and the number 2, and it was broken up into REL and then Asianship change. And this is the way the breakdown came up for the code line. The sudden event of the grandmother, so here's the grandmother coming in again. It was totally unrelated to the other definition. Sudden event of the grandmother sacking the 2 of Cups Empress, and GI was coming up, so that could be a soldier or an upset stomach. And again, at the ship connection, which is interesting too. I forgot that my daughter was traveling out of the country. So sudden event with the grandmother sacking the 2 of Cups Empress, and they're giving them an upset stomach or dealing with a G.I. Joe type of energy at the ship's connection for relationship change. But also there could be some scandal energy coming up there too. Calm, serene union or Sagittarius. The 2 of Cups with too much food and GI upset. That could be too. And I definitely, my stomach felt kind of off yesterday too. I don't know if it was from the dinner I ate. To see the man sacked, or again, this could be union or Sagittarius, or a man who's sagging. The 2 of Cups with an abundance, easily turned at the connection ship change. So it's this energy of being easily turned or rotated, like maybe being able to change their mind, or there's a physical agility. Seeing the man sacked or Sagittarius, like just, kind of turn on a dime and be okay with it. The 2 of Cups of one-on-one with abundance easily turned at a connection ship change. To see the 9-inch nails, and that always brings up Jesus on the cross for me. The Sagittarius or sack of the 2 of Cups Empress easily turned at the connection ship change. Also southeast winds like nails, bagging the 2 of Cups abundant the abundant partner, or again there could be a military riot or GI scandal here. A sudden event or southeast winds, like I said. The Hermit, number 9, sacked 2 partners and Empress in a military or relationship change. So we start this read at the Knight of Pentacles reversed. The underlying energies here. So the bottom of the deck is right here beneath the little cards here. And that is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Below that is the Shadow reversed, Alchemy upright, the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the 3 of Swords upright. The 5 of Swords is upright, which is always for me is the war within. Detoxing the patient angel or patience. The Page of Pentacles reversed, needing help or separation or in a storm, facing their fears, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, of stretching and growing without help, and the Knight of Wands upright, awake, ending pain of the unhappy family, trying to steal their happiness without them. The Knight of Swords rushing in guarded at 1054, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Swords, or bringing delivery with bodyguard to one reaping rewards while visiting the Emperor's unhappy family, with the King of Wands reversed, the Sovereign upright, and the Lovers reversed in a breakup or lack of affection, or the Knight of Swords to the Queen of Swords visiting, or the Emperor with jealous family, the Ten of Cups reversed, and the King of Wands reversed, with Aries of Sovereign sharing with the King of Swords, and that can be an independent child as well, sharing with the King of Swords, perhaps a hot lover or Gemini, or not lover or Gemini. And then a breakup or no love lost between the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Pentacles reversed, which can be siblings, but they can also be in a relationship acting like kids, or just two earth signs both reversed and stubborn, not doing what they're supposed to do. Starting over, getting over loss, regret, can't sleep, or awakening and coming out in need of help as the Page of Pentacles reversed. Grounding union in need of opportunity or invite, and occasionally affected under gray skies and can't sleep or create. And again, being seasonally affected comes up in the fall. Chemistry comes up, and beneath that was stay optimistic about your love life. In a near-death or after-a-death experience, or just dead tired, the Knight of Cups reversed or Scorpio reversed may be jealous of the Empress, who's off the fence and starting over, staging a brand new life. Perhaps there's an evil Empress reversed here, or Taurus reversed taking their feng shui off the wall at the gate, with a plan to get them into bed. Red boots with family crest, conch shell and dead bug as evidence, off the fence or buzzing them in, with altar prepared for a home run to trap them. Scorpio reversed and Taurus reversed, with jealousy between them, and the Knight of Cups reversed, which can be rejection as well. The Empress is not playing this game anymore, starting over, no longer taking directions or wanting to direct her own movies, or porn queen. Health could be coming up here, but even more so music. And at 1117, which is Justice and the Star, getting their wish with their cards held close to their chest about work issues and the world being upside down, or just needing closure to a cycle here. The Wounded Warrior surrenders with the Hermit's advice, with news or clarity a decision's been made to get down off the wall and surrender, or giving up so the Hermit will come down off the wall, or was blind but now can see. With Pisces reversed and Virgo upright, after the Queen of Cups in a falling out walks away. The clarity of the Knight of Pentacles reversed, in a break with the Page of Pentacles reversed for a new life, co-creating good health. The World, Divine Feminine, Pisces, and Bliss, performing the Queen of Swords, who may be dead tired and up early. The Knight of Cups reversed, jealous out in the cold, with the King of Cups reversed, while the Queen of Cups is upright and happy alone at 1142, which is Justice and the Two of Cups. In the recent past is Karma upright, of exile, injury, or illness, or of the Empress reversed, with no options in a downturn and not using their intuition. The Wounded Warrior in a disconnect or at a distance, with the King of Cups reversed, the Queen of Pentacles upright, and the Queen of Cups upright, in separation and awake to no peace, overwork or no work, and manipulation, or without the tools to deal with the situation. So we have Taurus, Libra, Pisces, Capricorn, Gemini, all reversed right here at 1151, which is Justice and the King of Swords. The foundation is the Queen of Cups upright, perhaps with Cancer in their chart, with injustice around the world. The Queen of Cups upright with Cancer, but Pisces upright as well, with injustice or Libra reversed between. With the Page of Wands, who's excited but insecure and trying to be strong. And centrally is the King of Wands reversed, who's frustrated juggling as Sovereign, sharing with the King of Swords, or Star and Manager. The Ten of Pentacles may be a wealthy family, business, or community, and the King of Swords may be wheeling and dealing, while the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles perform, and the King of Cups reversed is uninspired or in separation or in disconnect. Maybe as the wounded warrior who didn't use his intuition and found himself in prison or on the downside of things. And then we have the Two of Cups reversed. Challenged by the Two of Cups reversed in a health exchange with Scrooge. And the Scrooge energy is definitely holding their cards close, right? Seeing delusions of grandeur with the Emperor not working out and perhaps being released from work. The Chariot is working well or came to a friendly agreement, or Cancer Queen of Swords receives a friendly delivery from the Knight of Swords. In a downturn, but the worst is now over, of the Two of Cups reversed and disconnect or at a distance, being strong-armed and obsessing over a split or splitting ends or splitting hairs, in detoxing good news, with the Page of Swords reversed, present to the Five of Wands reversed in a losing battle, without a choice, and receiving big love offer out of nowhere, or perhaps from source. Eight of Swords reversed, going out or coming out of hiding, exposed and uncomfortable. The Emperor reversed with the Sovereign upright is present to their ship sailing, with the King of Wands making a decision finally. Defenseless to energies or attack and no peace. The XGI out of control, confession after the fact, or coming out of hiding with fantasy about the Ten of Pentacles family, the Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community. And the Temperance card of patience, with the Page of Swords reversed, or rumors of separation or heartbreak, and being offered big love and or gifts. The Nine of Cups is upright, getting their wish, getting off easy with a slap or a kiss from a rose, and detoxing divorce or secret passion or moving out, with narcissistic Hierophant reversed or Taurus reversed, and Pisces reversed or Dark Priestess. And these could be kids acting up in divorce as well. Having worth issues and giving someone advice to end stress and their suffering in silence, or sister as well. And soon as the Knight of Wands upright here with a slow burn, the Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community, and a soulmate facing their fears, and then bringing good news to taking a load off in a detox and coming together in a celebration, in a wake-up call, with the Hermit upright and the Empress reversed, Taurus reversed, perhaps seeing a counselor. Twin flames seeing themselves as the Nine of Wands in a heated exchange, offering a new life, though, after many delays, knowing and keeping to themselves in a split of marriage and or divorce, and the Page of Cups holding on, falling from grace as the King of Wands reversed, wounded warrior. With a wedding and love yourself first, give your relationship a chance and express your love. Around the twins, or how they're seen, is the Queen of Swords, depressed in a losing battle, in a breakup with the King of Pentacles, perhaps in a duel, or just tired of the Knight of Cups reversed, blocking their way. Aquarius, Scorpio, Gemini all reversed here. I wouldn't want that combination. And then the block here of the Empress reversed with issues at work, and the Queen of Wands reversed here. With relationship change, but even more so, love partnership, and not being past the Knight of Wands, always having to save the day. It was coming up like Endless Love, you know, how he ends up burning the house down because he was trying to save the day and be the hero so that the parents would like him. The Seven of Pentacles is upright here with the Divine Feminine's heart, Rapunzel in the E-Tower, of secret passion with gifts and ending conflict without choice, but to love oneself first. The Divine Feminine's heart moving away from drama and suffering in silence. Simon Says is coming up too. That may be a message for somebody. With an outpouring of love and knocked for a loop, insecure without tools and no guidance, or divorced, with the King of Pentacles upright, the King of Cups reversed, the Knight of Swords is upright, delivering straight to the Divine Masculine's heart, an announcement or wake-up call. The Knight of Pentacles reversed with the Queen of Cups, and the Wounded Warrior here with the Queen of Swords, after the Page of Pentacles reversed in a storm. I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid, with the Knight of Pentacles reversed returning or refusing to help or work or move for that matter. The Queen of Cups wounded warrior with the Queen of Swords Aquarius with the King of Wands reversed, challenged by the disconnect or distance of the Knight of Wands, and the Empress reversed, released from hiding or prison to or from the Divine Feminine's heart. Exuding love to foolish, insecure King of Pentacles with Taurus in their chart, and the King of Cups reversed with conditions for the Knight of Swords to enter the Bat Cave. The Knight of Pentacles reversed in a wake-up call to decide and be clear. The Queen of Cups upright and the King of Wands reversed, coming out of hiding and challenged by the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or distance. The wounded warrior and the Knight of Wands upright, rescuing the Queen of Swords with the Empress reversed, or lack of abundance and reaping at the E-Tower with open hearts, but lacking faith and unable to manifest and in need of guidance from the King of Pentacles upright and the King of Cups reversed, with the Knight of Swords delivery and the Divine Masculine's heart. At 12:41, the Hanging Man and the Ace of Cups. And so there's that read. All right, I know that was a lot, but there it is. It's 2:20 on the clock. I'm just going to pull an energy card for you guys to wrap it up. Let's see what comes up there. I have to feed Teddy. He's been such a good boy, not asking for dinner. Are you hungry, Teddy? Are you even in this room? Ah, I hear you. Are you hungry? Yes, you. There you go. The first chakra, Archangel Michael. The 35 of the wounded warrior. So again, getting the last bits of the root chakra out of our system. And again, the anger from the liver coming up here. And we have the King of Swords here too, using his hands to heal. And making a strategy here on how to complete this cycle. So again, leaving the wounded warrior behind, using their talents with their healing hands and making a plan to come full circle. Perhaps somebody, it's a log to go on a ship or a cruise, or just journaling in general. But it's very masculine today. And they may be being patient or having a child who's being patient, or this could be just dealing with patience. But again, this is, the kids who feel like their liberties have been taken away from them as well. The bottom of the deck is the all tied up energy of the King of Wands with the 23, but she's also feminine energy, playing coy or playing games. So letting go of this energy of the Fool's Journey, finding balance. And this is when the King of Wands gets off balance and he needs balance again. And then here comes Archangel Michael, as I'm losing my voice here, to get him back in line again. Right? Because the distractions are making them fall asleep again. It's the Wicked Witch's monkeys, making them trying to distract them to make them fall asleep again. And then here comes Archangel Michael, bringing them right back to the root chakra again, the wounded warrior, and urging them to get back into their integrity after losing their way of the compass. So again, that's from the messages that came up as well. The King of Swords, and then again the journal here and the strategy, right? Getting back to their integrity again, into their purity again. So there you go. Remember your water. Get your rest. Say hi to Teddy. Say hi, Teddy. Hello. Here he comes. You want to say hi to everybody? There he is. Hello. So tell everybody to get their rest and their joy in their nature. And what a good boy you are. Rise and be loved, everybody. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.